You're watching Iron Beasts of World War II, where we break down real combat vehicles of World War II using only archival photographs, documents, and verified historical data. And today, we're covering the Soviet BT fast tanks. Machines built for blitzkrieg-style war, and shattered by the brutal reality of the Eastern Front. Early 1930s. The Soviet Union was preparing for a future large-scale war. Its military doctrine revolved around one concept: deep operations and rapid maneuver. Tanks weren't meant to storm enemy lines head-on. They were meant to punch through, bypass defenses, and wreak havoc behind enemy lines. For that, they needed speed. Maximum speed. This idea gave birth to a new category, the fast tank, the BT, a machine built to win by movement alone. The engineering concept behind the BT tanks was radical. Soviet designers aimed to build a tank that could cover long distances quickly, without wearing down its tracks. The solution: a convertible drive system with a Christie suspension. A wheel-and-track configuration that allowed the tank to operate on either set. It was an ambitious compromise. To achieve that kind of speed, they had to sacrifice armor, and partially, reliability. But it was a conscious decision. Speed was prioritized over survivability. In Soviet doctrine, velocity was the best protection. Engine/power plant. Aviation-type gasoline engine. Output: 400 horsepower. High fuel consumption. Top speed: up to 70 km per hour, on wheels. Armor/protection. Frontal armor, 13 mm. Side and rear armor, even thinner. Protection only against small arms and shrapnel. Completely vulnerable to anti-tank G*NS. Armament: 45 mm tank G*N. 7.62 mm machine G*NS. Limited ammo storage. Effective against infantry and light vehicles. Mobility: exceptionally fast on firm terrain. Good range for its era. Struggled in mud and snow. Mechanical reliability was a constant concern. BT tank crews admired one thing: speed. The vehicle was fast and responsive. It felt more like a sports car than a tank. But every crewman knew its fatal flaw. It burned. The combination of gasoline fuel, thin armor, and a tightly packed interior meant that even a single hit could ignite a catastrophic fire. Mechanics complained about the complex systems. Tankers suffered from cramped conditions and virtually no protection in real combat. Speed brought excitement, but it vanished the moment the first shell hit. In the late 1930s, the BT tanks looked promising. During the conflicts in Mongolia and the Spanish Civil War, they excelled at flanking maneuvers, deep raids, and encirclements. Speed truly gave them the edge. But in 1941, everything changed. Operation Barbarossa brought a new level of firepower and tactics. German anti-tank G*NS, dive bombers, and dense defensive lines exposed every weakness of the BT. Thin armor offered no protection. Gasoline engines turned every penetration into a blaze. And the complex suspension struggled in muddy terrain. Losses were staggering. The tank built for breakthrough was helpless in a defensive war. When it came to speed, BT tanks were unmatched. They outran almost every German or Allied tank of the time. But in terms of armor and survivability, even light tanks from other nations offered better protection. The BT was a racehorse on a battlefield of predators. Fast, but fragile. And speed without armor proved to be more illusion than advantage. The BT series went through several key iterations, each trying to improve combat performance, but none solving the core vulnerability: thin armor. BT-2, the first production model. It carried only machine G*NS at first, but later received a 37mm G*N. It was light, fast, and dangerously underarmed. BT-5 introduced a 45mm G*N, significantly improving firepower. It retained the same chassis and speed, but still had limited armor. BT-7, the most advanced version. It had a more powerful engine, better turret design, and improved electrical systems. But again, armor remained weak. Some experimental variants existed: flamethrower versions, command models, and even amphibious prototypes. But no variant ever solved the tank's main weakness. Ultimately, experience from the BT series paved the way for something better, a new tank that would learn from these flaws: the legendary T-34. The BT tanks were a transitional phase, flawed, but essential. They pushed Soviet designers to innovate. They proved that speed alone could not win a war. And they highlighted the dangers of prioritizing doctrine over survivability. More importantly, they directly influenced the creation of the T-34. Without the BT's failures and experiments, there would have been no T-34 success. The BT tanks became a lesson in balance, between mobility, firepower, and protection. They were machines ahead of their time, and destroyed by it. Strengths: outstanding speed, impressive maneuverability, innovative Christie suspension, strategic mobility over long distances. Weaknesses: extremely thin armor, highly flammable gasoline engine, cramped and dangerous for the crew, poor survivability in real combat. The BT tanks were a bold experiment, designed for a war of movement, but caught in a war of firepower and attrition. They failed to survive the battlefield. But their lessons endured. What they lost in combat, they gave back in knowledge, knowledge that shaped the most iconic tank of World War II. These were the BT tanks, fast, daring, and doomed. They raced ahead of their time, and paid a terrible price for it. You've been watching Iron Beasts of World War II. We use only real archival materials, documents, and confirmed data to bring these machines back to life. Subscribe for more deep dives, and let us know in the comments, which machine should we break down next.